Alright, we're back out. We're not just back out, but we're back out in an area that I was in just a few short weeks ago. We had another decently hot spell. I mean, it might look cloudy at the moment, but it's still really quite warm tonight, and it's it's 7 o'clock. So we've been driving a few hours, took our time to get up here. So we're near Morar, or Mallaig, very close to, as you see behind me, the Isle of Skye. And we get egg and rum just over there. We'll give you a proper look at this once I stick the drone up and let you see what we've got. But for now, I'm going to get the tent pitched up. I'll talk you over the tent because it's not one I've used for a while. And then we can get it over this camp. Like I say, it's another one of them camps where the selling point for the video is the location, because it's just a stunning location. So tent's going up, and let's get settled in for the night. So tent of choice tonight is the Naturehike Mongar 2. It's a tent that I haven't used since I think October last year potentially. So I'm just going to get pegs out ready as well. Reason I bought this tent as opposed to other tents I've got is it's got more room for us, for two of us, because I've got Caitlin with us, and I knew the wind was like negligible. I think it's 3 miles an hour, so it's just a little gust. So it's really easy for us to sit in the tent. I'm not overly keen on putting the Naturehike out in big gusts of wind. I'd rather have either my little white 4-class track tent for that, or the obviously the big Simone tent I would use for those conditions. So it's one of them skeleton designs. You know, you get your, it is inner pitch first, which does have its issue again. So if you're thinking it's going to be wet, can't really put it out. But if it's dry, you're alright. So just gonna get I'm gonna get our wee base put in now, which is literally a case of getting this all to click together, and it creates a little skeleton. And I'm going to attach the skeleton to this. I haven't brought its little mat, you know, the ground sheet. Didn't feel the need for it today. You know, I know it's been dry for the last few days, and like I say, it's been really quite nice weather, so just didn't think that was going to be something I needed to worry about. As you can see, most of it kind of almost clicks in itself once you start giving it a bit of range, and then from there, once it's all clicked in, I'm just going to lay it out. And then get it put in its wee corners. There's these little eyelets here where they just clip in. The tension on this, you can then clip one of these in. They go in like so, and then twist. So you see the skeleton, what you tend to do is put a couple of the little hooks in, and then when you do the same this side, you can then find you'll be able to just work your way through it. These are just they go in and then they twist, and you get a wee clip. So they are very secure. And then there's a wee bar at the top that's going to be for your height. So this little bar here, what you have to do is make sure this stays above it. And then there's these little little red eyelets, they go in like so. And then, yeah. And if it was really, really nice, you could sleep with the tent like this, pegged out, and have it as a bug net tent. It's not going to be quite warm enough for that for us tonight, So what I'm going to do is put the fly over, finish off, and then I'll check back in once we're all set up and stuff, and I'll go over bedding and things and let you see what we're rolling the night, seeing as what it is the summer weather, bit different kit as well. So give you a wee check back in a couple of minutes. Get the bedding out and up, and as always it's fairly standard one for me now. I've got my Rab Mythic Ultra 120. I've got the Sea Summit Ethelite XT, should be for that. I brought my Sea Summit Thermalite reactor. That'll go inside the bag, and then my little Sea Summit Aeros pillow. I'll go over Caitlin's, what she's got in a wee minute. What I'm going to do is get both these blown up. So first off, I need to find my wee electrics bag in amongst all the drink. And in here we have a little flex tail pump. There we go. So we'll check back in when the beddings are all up, and I'll show you what we've got set up for the night. We're getting close to it. First course for our food tonight, the hot dogs. They only take a couple of minutes on the skillet to cook. Hood's up just because we've got the first wee bit of midge for the year. Not too bad, but they're round. But thankfully the smoke and the heat will get rid of them. Obviously there's no wind, so they kind of linger a lot more. Hope you liked a bit of drone footage I've shown you so far. It's just such a stunning area. And by the looks of it, we're very closely going to be getting the sun popping out. And we'll show you the rest of the camp as we go through the night. This is just, it's lovely, isn't it? Camping heaven. The shards of light are just starting to come through. So we've got blue skies above us. So our forecast is exactly what it is, but when it comes to sunsets and sunrises, it's not really your forecast you kind of need to think about. It's more about where is the sun going to be. So in the case of this one, the forecast would really be interesting to be keeping an eye on. Would have been Skye or even, dare I say it, not quite Ireland, but certainly a bit further out, you know. So we're past Rum and Egg there, where the sun's coming down. The cloud is moving, so hopefully we'll still get the last parts of a sunset. I mean, the mountains over at Naturehike over there are quite clearly in the sun as well. But yeah, what a stunning night. We've just had our food, and we're now just wandering around the beach and just enjoying this lovely area. Almost got the place to ourselves, still a couple of people around, you know. It's just great, isn't it? So we're just enjoying the last half hour or so of sunset. You see, it's a different sunset because we've got it clear above us, but the cloud over there. But the way it's kind of fighting through it, as you'll see in the time lapse, it's actually really quite stunning. I'll go over again for the ones that haven't seen my RSA video from a few weeks ago with the Northern Lights. You need to check that one out. But if you haven't, just let you know our view as we look straight down on the Egg, and behind that a Rum, which is the Rum Cooling, it's peeking out through there. And then between the gap, we then have the Isle of Skye with the red Cooling and the black Cooling, Blaven looking straight at us in that in the sunlight. The Cooling Ridge is a wee bit shaded in the cloud. And then as we pan round, you can just see the tips of Naturehike in the distance. It's one of them areas you just don't get tired of coming to visit. As I say, I've been here twice in the space of a few weeks, and I'll probably be back here at least a couple of times this year. I would have thought, potentially doing it with a wee trip towards Skye. I think we're hoping to do that at some point this year again. Do a few days where we do maybe a camp here and then progress over Skye and just find different spots to camp at and find some scenic ones, maybe a coastal one and then ones that's going to give us views of the Cullen, just nice camp spots, but accessible, not something that's too extreme that you couldn't look at yourself and think, oh, I want to try, So we're going to finish our ciders. I think we're on our third each, maybe, potentially, I don't know. And we've got some red wines to go. With our food, we're just nicely settled. Absolute lush. Cheers, guys. And there's one more piece of our camp that I haven't really mentioned, but now it's come on, I can show you properly. It cost us a £5 out of Tesco's. I put 2 of my wee walking poles up. I actually got Caitlin to do this part for us while I was playing with the drone. Wee solar panel there, so it's been charging up while we were been sat. I actually wasn't sure if it was working at all, but as it got darker, it's now popped on, and we've got the wee lights. So it just finishes off the camp quite nice, doesn't it? It just gives us that wee, that wee campy vibe, under the stars. We've both got a wee glass of, or a wee bottle of red. Well, 2 bottles each. We'll probably slam them. I mean, it's still it's like 10:15, and it's still. I mean, we still see the sun light coming up. There's not a star out yet. Probably another 20 minutes before it even get a star out. And it'll be after 11 before it even gets dark up here. Barely gets dark at all. So it'll be nice to sit under our wee lights for a bit and make you feel all homey. Good morning. Just giving you that first reveal. So it's still really warm but cloudy. So we're just lazing about in the tent for a bit before we decide what we're doing. I'll go over both sleep systems as well this morning. Good points and one very, very bad point that I need to mention. Overall, lovely night. We had to jump in the tent a little bit earlier than we wanted to do because the rain came on, and it came on heavy. But this little nature hike stood up to the test really well. Not a leak, not a drop. Did very well, so really happy with that. So what we're doing, getting up, probably get a coffee I think. Check out the view. Inside the tent's all packed up. I just got to mention the goods and the bads of the sleep system. So both sleeping bags, perfect. Can't fault them. Mine was maybe a touch too warm. It's a 0 degree rated bag, that one. So maybe it was just a touch, you know. But it's can't really be too warm. But the one problem I have got is on the kilo skier mat. It sprung a leak on the Muller Galloway camp that we had a few weeks back, and then we've patched it and it's gone down again overnight. So whether it's the patch that's not been fitted properly, that'll be me, or there's more holes in it, I don't know. By the way, it's where the hole was in one of the wee dimples, so it was always like a manufacturing problem. So it wasn't quite half the price of the Seat Summit one either. So I think it was about 120, and the Seat Summit one's 195, 200. So for the extra 70 quid, I think peace of mind, I'm just going to get a second Seat Summit one, and then you know, I mean, I've had that one now coming up 2 years, and it's been bulletproof. It's so quite annoying at that, because you know, you would think that would have been better than that. But anyway, just gonna get ourselves packed away now and start the walk. And a lovely calm morning again. I'm just going to overlay a time lapse now as we've been putting the tent away. Just got the last few bits to do. So I mentioned as I was setting this up yesterday that I left the ground mat at home. I'm kind of wishing I actually bought it because it did rain overnight, which then meant that the base has been wet. But still, I have to admit, this tent really does a decent job. I always feel like it's the naughty sister kind of thing, where I always favourite other tents over this one, but whenever I take it out, I always come back going, she did a good job, you know. I think back to the last times I used this one properly would be around March, April last year. One of them would have been an Easter camp, which was well into the minuses, up at Bridge Orkey. Camped up around that area to do the Blackmount Munros. Again, I didn't have a problem with it. I camped up at the beef tub around the March of that year. Again, freezing cold morning, bit of a wind, I think it was like 20 mile an hour gusts was coming in. I used my trekking poles in the doors to keep the thing in place. Again, held up really well. My only issue is it's all mesh, so I've always felt like if it was a cooler one, you've got to notice. Whereas last night, it was genuine to the point where you could have probably just thrown your bags to the side and slept on top of the air mat. Well, I could have, you know, my air mat wasn't broken, you know. So yeah, I would keep ragging this wee thing, and at some point I am going to take it up a Munro summit. I mean, it's done summits, but not a Munro summit. No, definitely haven't. So just to really give it a proper test out, you know. But in terms of waterproofing, I'll say now, we got an absolute battering of the rain. I was going to film it, I couldn't find where my camera had put it at the time, so it lasted for about half an hour or so, and it was heavy. That's why the ground's still wet now for just that half an hour. But this thing didn't give us one little leak, apart from not shutting the door properly. But I can't really fault the tent for that one. Tent did its job, which is what we want. So gonna have to give my wee nature hike a bit more kudos than I do. So you're not as bad as I keep saying you are, son. Just for the record, there's an OEX bag I've got here. I know some of you have clocked that already. The nature hike bag that came with this one is a longer one, and it actually fits really quite nice. My foil blanket I use in the winter time, and I prefer having the dry bags for my tents. They squeeze better. I can push this in a bit more. So if I didn't have so much of my food sources still in the bag, I could squeeze this right down deep and put it in. Failing that, this one's got to go at the bottom of my bag, under the hooks. That'll be perfect. So I think we're about packed up. As always, left no trace at all, just a little dry bit of grass. So that's going on. I haven't really mentioned this, but unlike the last time when I was over at Rua Point, you know, down there at Arisaig, and this is actually a really short walk. So 10 minutes until we're back to the car. So we're gonna get stepping. I'll see you guys. Take a drink. Back at the car. Oh. I just had them on, one in and another one in. Aye. So we're going to finish off here. Grab a wee drink for the road. I'm not going to promise anything, but we may have some wee bonus footage to add on the drive home. We drove past a film set, and I'm not going to say any more than that in case we can't park, because you can't park. So we're hoping we can find a wee dodgy spot to park and see the film set. But if you know the area and you know there's a viaduct close by, it might give you an idea as to what's getting filmed up there. So that's where we're hoping, anyway, we're hoping we can get a wee nosy. But if not, either way, as always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, tell your mates. It's always nice to keep the channel going. And me and Caitlin, or me and whoever else that joins me on my wee adventures, we'll see you on the next little trip, which will be hopefully same time next Thursday. Take care and goodbye.